Oh, we're ready.
Okay.
You're just waiting on me.
All right.
Okay, because you even ready. You're like, good evening, everyone. And good evening to those watching online. Thank you so much for joining us for, I feel like on television, you know how they're like, another edition of Black Gold. So we're here for another edition of Black Gold with, I'm not going to tell you just yet, our special guest. My name is Tara Payne. I'm the Member Success Coordinator at Camp 2 here at 36 Degrees North. And 36 Degrees North is Tulsa's base camp for entrepreneurs. Our entire mission is to help entrepreneurs and help entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs themselves thrive in our city. We do this by providing inspiring workspace, a tight-knit community, and resources to get entrepreneurs to the next step in their journey. Our goal with this series, the Black Gold series, is to uplift the stories of Tulsa entrepreneurs, past and present. So, making 36 Degrees North an inclusive place is one of our goals. And one of our goals is to make Tulsa, or 36, look like Tulsa, as far as diversity is concerned. So recognizing that Black Wall Street is critical when speaking to entrepreneurship in Tulsa, we also wanted to do something at the Centennial last year, which was May 31st, 2021, to stand in solidarity with the community. And a colleague of mine got together. He's here in the audience. And Mark Lamonck and I got together and was like, okay, what are we going to do? And we were like, we don't know. What do we want to do? So out of our conversations and the goal that 36 had as an organization to have a Black-led initiative came Black Gold. And I'm very proud to be bringing the stories of people like Chantelle Lott, who is our guest today. Can we give her a hand? And other entrepreneurs in the city that are carrying on the legacy of Black Wall Street. So thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you for asking me. Glad to be here.
For sure. And Mark, thank you for coming. So last quarter, our guest was Michael Vaughn of Urban Coders Guild. And if you didn't see it, go back and watch it, YouTube channel. If you're new to Black Gold, we want to tell you that this series was, Mark and I collaborated, so 36, we collaborated inter-office, but we also collaborated with the Greenwood Cultural Center. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge our program partners, the Greenwood Cultural Center, and Michelle Burdex, who is the program coordinator and tour guide there at the Greenwood Cultural Center. The Greenwood Cultural Center serves as a marker for the Tulsa community, chronicling where we have been, where we are, and where we are going through historical offerings, events, and youth programming. Its mission is promoting, preserving, and celebrating African American culture and heritage. You can learn more about the Greenwood Cultural Center by going to their website at www.greenwoodculturalcenter.org. Okay, so we're ready to get to you, but I just got a few more things that we got to say. So is anybody new to this series, Black Gold? Has anybody never been here before? Okay, so we got some people in the room that are new. Glad you're here. We probably have some people online. I don't know if you're raising your hands. I can't see you. But if you're new here, you may not know what Black Gold is all about. I just shared a little bit about it, but May 31st, 2021 marked the centennial of the most horrific act of domestic terrorism in our history as a nation and in our city, the massacre on Greenwood. As I mentioned, we wanted as an organization to do something meaningful to stand in solidarity with the community during this solemn time that would also bring awareness to the innovation and rich entrepreneurial legacy of the city. So here we are. We are highlighting some of the amazing stories of the people who built Black Wall Street and Greenwood and tying their stories to some of Tulsa's best and brightest modern day entrepreneurs. So now we can get to you. I don't know why I'm being so corny, y'all. Forgive me. I'm just, now we can get to you. On to you, Bob. But tonight, again, I told you her name, but I want to tell you Chantelle Lott is a wife and mother of 3. She is the founder and CEO of Bounceless, an activewear brand for fuller bust women. Chantelle is passionate about health and literacy and hopes to change the world through her passions. So if you would put your hands together again and help me welcome Miss Chantelle Lott tonight.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
So Chantelle, I introduced you. Hold on, let me get this together. Did it do it? Which one did you use? It's not working. Okay. Thank you. I don't know if it, okay, there we are.
Thank you, Mark.
Michelle is here. Michelle of the Greenwood Cultural Center is here. So I told your bio, but I want you to tell us about you in your words.
All right.
So tell us, are you from Tulsa?
Not originally. It would be 20 years next year that I have been here.
Wow.
I am originally from Houston. I came to Tulsa by way of track. I ran track and athlete. That's part of this whole story too. So got a full scholarship to the University of Tulsa, and I promise I was like, I'm leaving after I graduate, and I'm still here. But yeah, grew up in Houston, different parts of Texas too, but mostly in Houston. Oldest of 3 kids, so I have that mama attitude that came out early in me. So met my husband at TU, and so he played football, so we have those athletic kids as well. So nice. A great place to start a family and everything, and they're all thriving here. We're all thriving here. So
you came for school, you met your husband while you're in school.
Yes.
What made you stay?
My husband wasn't ready to go back home. He's from Texas too, and he just wasn't ready to leave Tulsa, but I'm glad, because over the years I've extended my family. Deborah, she's in the audience, she's my family.
Yay, Deborah.
Also my business partner, we'll get to that too,
Yes.
but I have a very extended family now, and I'm proud of that.
Can I ask you, can y'all hear her okay? Okay.
Okay.
So what we do here is to have our modern day entrepreneurs to highlight an entrepreneur of the past or from the Black Wall Street days. And we've highlighted everyone from O.W. Gurley to A.C. Jackson to Lula Williams and J.B. Stratford and more. And tonight you're going to tell us about somebody that we haven't talked about yet. Who are you going to talk about?
Mrs. Dora Wells. And we have an interesting connection. She's also from Houston. And she was a tailor. Her and her husband opened up her tailor shop here on Greenwood, and she was also a hairstylist, so she was a serial entrepreneur. But think their opportunities in Houston at the time were not where they needed to be for Black people, and Oklahoma was a thriving city at that time, or at least Tulsa, so they decided to move to Tulsa. And she was a community activist. She was out of town the day that the massacre happened. She came back the next day, found her salon, everything destroyed. But she went out. She ended up traveling to Boston and raised some money and came back and was able to provide clothing for about 300 people. So she was heavily invested in the community. And I'm really thankful for this opportunity, because as a student, I did not appreciate history, but as an adult, I truly do. But to be able to find that connection to someone that shared similar experiences is really great and inspiring to keep moving forward. So in my own right, I am heavily invested in the community in different ways, different areas of my professional. I by no means am a seamstress, and so we'll get to all that later. But my previous history or professional experience is involved in community work.
That's what I was going to ask you. Did you start off as an entrepreneur? Like, where did you start? After college, what were you doing? Where did you find yourself for vocation? And then how did you end up to where you are today?
After college, I went into social work. I worked with early childhood families, and then I did that for about 2 years, and then I decided I wanted to be an educator. And I will say, my senior year of college, I think I've always known I wanted to be an educator, but my senior year of college, I decided, I took an education course, like, okay, let me go teach. But it was like, girl, you about to graduate, so no, you do that later. And so I did eventually I went back to school to get my master's in education, but I did early childhood for a few years until I had like 2 of my own, and I couldn't mentally do that and do my own. So yeah, so I decided to try to go into middle school as well. But basically, education and social work is my background. And along that, I learned the value of building relationships in the community, and then also, just helping and strengthening the community wherever there's a need. So that's where all that comes from.
Aha. Okay, so education. And then, well, you said that whenever you're in college and maybe high school was whenever you started with athletics. You started in high school, I'm sure.
Middle school for athletics.
Okay. So we got athletics, middle school. That brought you to Tulsa.
Yes.
And then met your husband, education. Tell us how you ended up in entrepreneurship.
my senior year of college. No. Yeah, it was. I remember telling the teammate, I think it was indoor season. We have 2 seasons for track, indoor and outdoor. And I do these random things where I just blurt out what I'm going to do. And I was like, I'm gonna design a sports bra. And apparently somebody still remembers that. And I'm thinking, okay, so after college, I served as a mentor for Upper Bound. So that gave me some time to kind of like prepare and think about some things. So I was on this path to do the sports bra, but of course I'm working. And I honestly thought, and this is a sprinter mentality of mine, that I think I can do things really fast. And I will tell you, this was probably about 2008 or 2009 when I had this idea. And Deborah and I were attending the same church at the time, and I knew she's a seamstress, y'all. She doing wedding dresses and everything.
I heard her whenever you said you weren't a seamstress, she kind of chuckled a little bit.
Yeah, because I asked her to teach me, and that didn't go well. Like, I thought I could learn really fast, and I can't. I can, but I didn't want to. I'm impatient. So, and she told me to, like, y'all, she had me starting over, and I just didn't like it. So I was like, never mind. We'll just I didn't make an apron, though. But anyway, nonetheless, I just knew, I know where my strengths and my weaknesses are, so that's what that is. But yeah, I didn't have that background, so I will learn, and if I realize that you're not gonna do this or it's taking too much time, that's when I start asking for help.
Start outsourcing.
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, that's that word.
So you two were at church, at the same church.
Yes.
And you had just randomly blurted out, I'm gonna make a sports bra.
This was to a teammate years prior. I started on the sports bra, and I realized I couldn't sew. I knew she could. So I was like, can you help me make this sports bra? Well, it wasn't even that. She was like, we need to learn to sew first. That's what it was. I asked her to teach me how to sew so that I could make a sports bra, but that's how we became business partners.
Okay, so she taught you or tried?
She taught me. I know how to do some zippers.
Oh, okay.
I got that.
I'm sure you can put buttons on.
I could do that. I already knew how to do that, though.
That's important.
Yeah, it is.
I think that's like one of the 3 things I've learned how to do as far as
it's a life skill because you know.
I made a pillow, but my seam,
the
closing seam was horrible. She was like, I was like, I got to sew on a pillow. Hey, I passed.
I'm not gonna ask you to grade me, Deborah.
But you got her on your team, so that's good.
Yes,
it's beautiful.
Yes.
So why did you pick a sports bra though?
Because I was wearing 2 or 3. Like, since middle school, not 2 or 3, but going back, I don't even know what kind of bras they were putting out, but those weren't doing nothing. College, definitely wearing 2 or 3 sports bras. And so I decided, and I wanted to continue to run. So I decided I needed one to do the job, and that's where that came from.
You just needed one to run.
Yeah. I like that. One to run.
A good one.
Yes.
So you said, okay, I need a sports bra. You guys hooked up. And then you began production. You know what? But you don't just have, okay, y'all, she said a sports bra. That sounds like, okay, we've heard of sports bras, right? It's not just any sports bra. Tell us what's special about this sports bra.
This patented sports bra?
Is what?
It's patented.
Okay, that's amazing. Can we clap it up for this patent that she has? Because whenever I was like, oh, Chantelle said she can come, I did some research. And there are only, we're gonna talk about patents. In July of 2021, it says the share of U.S. inventors receiving patents who are women increased from 12.1% from 2016 to 12.8% in 2019. So only 12% of patents are held by women?
Apparently. I think I read that a long time ago. And so, yeah, and this is one thing about me. I like inserting myself in spaces where the numbers are low. So that wasn't the intent, though.
To be the change?
To insert myself in that. I just knew what happened with the patent, or how I came up with decided to get one, is I ended up turning a sports bra upside down, and know that band on the waist part, it held me down. So I was like, no, we're gonna put this in something. So that's really where it came from. So I was like, I figured this out, so let me go ahead and patent it.
Okay, so talk about the patent process. What's that process like? Because I remember being a kid, and like my dad would rig up stuff all the time, and I'd be like, Daddy, you probably are an inventor, like legit, but you just don't have patents. So what is the process like? So maybe for somebody who has an idea for something and they think, I want to get patented, what is it like?
there's a lot of research involved. I did my research before seeking an attorney. So the USPTO, the website to file that and trademarks as well, is where you can do some research. Google also has something too for patents where you can do that too.
USPTO, U.S. Patent and Trademark Office.
Office.gov.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll do your search there. That's a preliminary search. There are some words that I stumble over. So
It's okay, take your time. We got like all the time in the world. Everybody here for you, so don't be nervous.
Okay, so start there, do an internet search just to see what's out there first, and then you can go talk to a trademark attorney. At least this is my process. And then I went to talk to a trademark attorney. They'll do an extensive search because they have more resources too, but at least you can take them what you already know. And so I will shout out my patent attorney, Frank Catalano with Gable Gottwalls. He's amazing. He's very thorough. And like, I think he can like patent pretty much even in talking to anybody, it was like, oh, he gonna get you a patent. Like, and it didn't come back with a lot of, I guess, issues, because sometimes you have to correct some things. So yeah, that was really the process. Research, then go seek out a patent attorney. And you can do your research on patent attorneys as well, because you want someone who's gonna work for you and really show you the ropes and educate you.
Oh, so did you have to like draw it out? I mean, I kind of know that, but did you have to, because you can't just go in there and say, hey, I have an idea for this thing and it's going to look like this, and right here it's going to zip, and over here it's going to do that. Like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah, you need some illustrations. And I did draw it out myself, and I'm not an illustrator either. So, but the first woman we worked with to do our prototype, she ended up doing something for us, and that's what's actually in our patent. Those illustrations, she ended up putting that together for us. So. Okay. And that's phenomenal,
because I remember hearing you present at 1 Million Cups, and you talked about larger busted women, and the things that you talked about I never thought about, like how not having the right support will keep women from doing.
Yes, 37% of fuller bust women work out less than non-fuller bust women, and that even translates to 1 in 5 women choose not to work out because of their bust size. So for me, I talked about, health is a passion of mine. If you can't be physically active due to something that can possibly definitely be controlled, that's an issue for me. And if it's bust size, then let's fix that. But women are not going to the gyms. They're not doing. I even went on a walk just to test out a sports bra this morning, and it didn't do anything. So even just walking. And so if you're wanting to do more than walk, like run and jump, you're limited if you don't have a good supportive sports bra.
Okay. Yeah, that's important. So I remember hearing you say something like, it keeps, like, even women having to run after their toddlers, and I was just like, I never thought about all of that.
End up going like and then you got one arm that you're trying to, and it's a lot if you not support it. It can't be.
Yeah, that's a great point. So then that you talked about your passion for health. How is that a health issue, or what health issues could come out of not having the right support? I should ask that.
Well, pain, and pain definitely one. If you're choosing not to work out because you experience breast pain, shoulder pain, neck pain, that's going to impact your physical health. If you're simply not working out because, one, you're embarrassed by the bounce, or you just don't want to because you just know there are no sports bras out there, or you feel there are no sports bras out there, then your physical health is going to impact your mental health, and that can lead to other. And then we do need to be physically active. To combat some of these to combat some of these illness and ailments that we face every day.
So Black females are among the fastest growing demographic group to become entrepreneurs.
Yes.
And as a Black woman, how did the story of the Black woman that you researched make you feel? Do you have any encouragement or parallels, other than you guys being both from Houston, or similarities that you feel other women entrepreneurs of color should hear? You have the community, you both are community oriented, you both are from Houston. How did it make you feel? Because honestly, I always feel like what we are doing, we read her story, but in 100 years, somebody's gonna be reading your story, right? So for me, I'm like you, I didn't like history when I was a kid, and I would be like, why does my dad keep telling us these stories about these people who had all this stuff? But now I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
How amazing. Now I was fascinated then as a kid. I was just like, people who look like me did what?
Yeah, and that's what it is. Like, representation does matter. If we didn't see people before us doing, if I didn't know about Black Wall Street, which I learned about when I was in my freshman year in college. And then I remember just being, this was here, like I called my family. Some of them had heard, most of them had not. And it just bothered me because I have this equality thing about me where I want things to be fair. Mm-hmm. And to me, that wasn't fair. And so that it was destroyed and that I didn't know about it too. So that bothered me. And so I'm like, no, this isn't right. And to make it right is we have to show up. You know, if we're doing the work, if we know people who are doing the work, let's share that. Let's share our history so that we can repeat the good in the history that is out there.
Yeah, I just want to take the time to talk about another. So whenever Mark and I were talking about this at first, I asked Mark, do you remember that? I was like, why is this important to you? And he told me, and this thing, anytime I tell somebody this, Mark, like I legit cry every time. So he told me, and if I get it wrong, please tell me, correct me. He told me that he had a dream that what happened in 1921 happened again. And he didn't do anything to stop it, and it's giving me chills. And I don't know if I'm telling it right. But he said, you said you woke up in tears, if I remember correctly. Tell me, you woke up like, we have to do something.
Marky Mark.
Hey, I think the conversation that we had was basically just around, like, if this were to happen again, like, we have a moment right now where we're commemorating the 100 years. This is a moment where we all need to kind of come together and do something so that way 100 years from now, this doesn't happen again. I think that was like the big premise of our conversation when we first started working on this, but yeah.
He didn't know I was going to have him tell that, y'all. He's probably like, why is she giving me the mic? But I think it's very important to highlight also the allies in this fight, right? And to know that we don't stand alone, right? And it's not just black people. Like, at first when this started, people were like, I was like, are you going to come to Black Gold? And they're like, well, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm like, you don't know that. And you don't have to be, right? And then some people are like, well, can I come? I'm not black. And I'm like, absolutely, you can come, right? Because we all stand together. We are all united together in purpose, and we need one another in order to make sure that it doesn't happen again. So, Mark, I just want to say thank you for your passion and your dedication to making this happen. And it was a delight working with you. Always is.
Thank you, Mark. Yes, and to that about I'm not an entrepreneur. To me, entrepreneurship is creativity. You don't have to be in business to be an entrepreneur, in my opinion. It's just the creativity that you're putting out there. And yes, I would agree, you know, if you're not black, like, we're all in this together. If you believe in the cause of making sure that we are all equal and we have the resources that we need to all make it.
Yeah, I know that I learned some years ago that there is an Asian language, and I believe it's Chinese, but if I'm not right, somebody put in the comments or something, let me know, where the word challenge and the word challenge and opportunity are one and the same. And so whenever you are faced with a challenge, then that's really an opportunity for you to make a solution, right? And so I'll never forget that, because
I love that.
If you think about it, entrepreneurs are solving problems, right? That's what you did. You solved a problem, and you're like, I heard somebody also say that, like, if something bothers you enough, then that means, like, if something really bothers you, that means you're supposed to be part of the solution and fixing it. And so that's exactly what you did. That's what entrepreneurship is.
Yes.
And that's what creativity is. Like, people think, and I used to think creativity is like, oh, you can draw, you can sing, you can dance, you can whatever. But it's like, no, you can solve a problem.
Yes.
Something's not right about this, and I don't like it, and I'm going to fix it.
Yes.
Right?
Because my background wasn't being a seamstress or knowing fashion. I don't even consider myself, I'm not even into fashion. So it's just, I wanted a functional sports bra. That was it. So how do I do it? Nothing. I didn't consider myself creative too, though, for those same reasons. I can't draw. So, but I'm here.
Yeah, and then you don't even need to be able to draw. You just need to be able to say, no, make a line right there. It looks like this. You know, there's always somebody who can help. You can always outsource somebody who can sew it up for you.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
So tell us more about your relationship with Deborah and what we have up here on the board.
Deborah has been with me to, I think, 2 of these. These are trade shows. And these, okay, so yeah, Deborah just is, she's my, I cried. I don't cry a lot, but during this process, there was some tears shed, and she would just be there to check on me. Like, she's a true partner in this. She's been there since the beginning, since in the conception of of the sports bra when we were under another name, Concept C3, and we rebranded to Bounceless. She's been through it all. So she was there when we would go to meetings with, and we were in Colorado, we were in Dallas, meeting with product development teams, and it was just amazing. She, just have someone there for her. I just told her I'm applying for something. I might have to go to Dallas, and okay, I'm going with you. So she's just there. She's there. She's a part of this too. So
that's cool. Yeah. So y'all like, that's your ace in business.
Yeah, my kids. That's they Annie.
Oh, that's special. I love that.
Yeah, we're family. So here, I wanted to make sure that I give kudos and shout outs because we've been in this for a while now. Even before we had a sports bar, we were attending trade shows, and just the community here in Tulsa is great. This work has been going on for a long time, and I want to make sure, if anything, that the Tulsans are not miscounted or they're not being recognized for the work that has been going on here. So Black Women Business Owners of America now, and their fourth annual expo is coming up this Saturday. Yeah. But we've been to all of theirs previously before, and so they've been doing the work. Black Economic Expo, another trade show we've been going to. So just want to make sure that if you hear about these things, that you go out and support these trade shows, because these are put on by Tulsa natives, and they also have Tulsa natives in these trade shows too. So just to support the community. And then Ultimate Women's Expo, that's a national one I went to the one in Houston. And I put these up here because trade shows, that was a lesson learned. We did build up our email list prior to having sports bras. I had some shirts made. We were just trying to get the word out that we're going to have this sports bra coming. And so that's how we do that. So even if you don't have something just yet, find a way to get the word out so that you have an audience to reach out to once you are ready. So that's what we primarily use those trade shows for.
I love how you highlighted those people, because that's, I think, part of the spirit of Black Wall Street is to make sure that, you're highlighting in other businesses and other people, and just letting people know, hey, it's not just me. I'm not the only one out here doing it. There's a community of people who's doing it. And I love how the community and the ecosystem is like that. It's like, oh yeah, Chantelle's doing it. Oh no, well, you need to go talk to Desiree. Oh, well, Crystal's over there. Oh, well, talk to Catherine or talk to Miss Deborah. I love that.
Yes.
We all stick together.
And you're a great part of that too. You're great at connecting people.
Thank you.
I have to say that.
A passion of mine.
Yes.
So I got somebody I want to connect you to after we finish.
Okay.
I'm just kidding, but I probably will. So, okay.
All right. And then continuing the journey as an entrepreneur, product development, that was a very huge frustration. That's where some tears came from. Deborah comforted me, it's going to be okay. Let's pray about it. That's what I needed at the time.
Can we slow up real quick? So let's see, I want to kind of slow down, because people might think, oh, you had an idea, you started drawing it up, and then you have a patent like that, like on television. You know how things happen quickly? Like, oh, they renovated a whole house in 30 minutes. Yeah, no, that is not right.
No.
So tell us about how much time lapsed between the idea, all of that.
I recently found a notebook I was keeping notes in, and it was dated June 2009, and I had outlined how long. I was like, okay, in 6 months we're gonna have this bra ready. That was in 2009, y'all. We launched a product in 2019. Wow, 10 years. 20 years. The patent came out in 2019 as well. Okay. So we started the patent. We actually started product development started first in 2015. After some for real getting boots to the ground kind of stuff. And then we had a product come out in 2019 after switching. We had to switch product development teams and hearing a lot of no's, this can't be done. And then the first product we came out with wasn't even what I wanted. That's not the patentable sports bra, the one we have, the comfort bra. But for so long, again, we have this email list. We've been telling people we're coming out with a sports bra, so I've felt that I needed to put out something, which I'm grateful for. Okay. So lesson learned, still the sports bra that's needed, but my focus was on those high impact activities. Okay. So this one was for the lower one. And then that was 2019. So then 2021 comes around. I thought we were gonna launch in 2020, but we already know what happened with that year. So 2021 comes around, and we were able to launch with the patented sports bra with just the controlled sports bra.
I think that's when I met you. I don't know if you remember that, but we were at the Women Helping Other Women. I don't know if
yes,
it was outside.
Yes.
It was summertime because it was hot. So hot. Ooh, I remember it was hot. And I was just like, I came to your table and I was just like, hi, and you told me about what you were doing. And I think I had just started here
Okay.
at 36, and I had heard about Act Tulsa. And when you said what you're doing, I was like, you need to talk to Act Tulsa. He was like, I'm already in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, great. You're already connected. Yes. So tell us about Act Tulsa.
Act Tulsa.
I don't know. I don't want to get off of your, your cadence. So
No, it's fine. Act Tulsa, that was 2021. That was last year. I don't know my years anymore. That was last year. So applied to that and got in. That was a great experience because it really just helped us get to the next level.
For people who are listening who don't know what Act Tulsa is, tell us what it is.
It's an accelerator program where we, as the founders, get $70K, zero equity, and alone we do have to pay it back, but it goes back into the community for the future cohorts, and that's what I really appreciate about that. You give and you're receiving, then you give it back as well. And so it's a 6-month program. 3 months we are in person. We are meeting to strengthen our business, figure out where we need to trash some stuff, start all over. But sometimes you need that. And that's where we met Mark. Yep. We were in that cohort together. So the first cohort, and so really great team. Malachi, Dom, Talia, really just get us to where we need to be. But it's really for if you have that product that's ready, let's take it to the next level.
Okay.
And then there for that.
Okay. So then 2019, you put out a broad low impact.
Yes.
When did the
High
other
impact.
one? Yeah, high
That
impact.
came out June of 2021.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
So you have both now?
We have both now.
Okay. And that is the product that you intended to put out, and you're satisfied with that?
Yes.
Are you still, so answer a question for me. Whenever you have the product that you patented, can you still make like updates on the product, or do you have to get another patent for a new product?
It depends. I did make an update on the product before it came out, and we didn't have to go through that whole, it depends on what the update is what my patent attorney told me, and so we're good. But if I have another product, like we will have multiple products. We will have another sports bra, but with this patent, we can just change a little bit of it and we'll still be fine. We don't have to go through the whole process again with what we want to do that we know that works for the function of it. Okay. So we'll just probably change the look of it, okay, but the functionality of how it's constructed will still be the same, so that it provides support.
What do you hope for Bounceless? Whenever people talk about Bounceless in like 5 years, 10 years, what do you hope people say about what it did for them?
That it changed their lives. It helped them work out. It helped their mother, their grandmother, their aunts, whomever. Like, young girls are no longer wanting to give up on the sport that they love because they have a sports bra that supports them. So we are the leading activewear for fuller bust women. That's what I want them to know about.
I heard that.
About
Y'all heard it here
Bounceless.
first. Look, the leading active, what did you say?
Leading activewear brand for fuller bust women.
That's actually part of your tagline, yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Our mission.
Okay, tell us, what else?
All right. So I already talked about product development. Some of this I held myself back on, but the ideation phase, don't do that too long. Just ask for help when you need to and execute. That's what I would say on that slide, so that you're not left with frustration.
So are you like me? Like, I used to hate writing papers because it was hard because I would write and edit, write and edit, write and edit. And that's honestly how I wrote my book. And then I was like, I can't do it no more.
Yeah, you hold yourself up. We could have, there might be some iterations that need to be made, but get out there. Don't sit on it too long.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we talked about the patent. 2019, that was been a good year. I also won the pitch competition for Black Tech Weekend. Hey. And that's the thing too. I'm like, okay, I didn't consider myself techie. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out here and figure out this stuff. I needed to get out there anyway. So did the speech, and then I thought we were gonna have technology, and like the day of, we didn't. So I had to memorize my script and everything. So I had to go into my $24.99 mentality. You heard me talk about this before. So I use that for myself. As a freshman in high school, I told myself I was gonna run under 25 seconds in the 200 one time, and I did it at that meet. So that's the mentality I go with when I'm going into these competitions, like $24.99, get out there and get it. So that's what I did with that. Won that, and then Act Tulsa is
Wait. You won the 2019 Black Tech Weekend?
Pitch? Yes.
Well, can we clap up for that? Like, okay, don't just go by that. Hold on. Wait. Okay, keep going.
All right, and then we talked about Act Tulsa, so that was part of the journey. And then really what I want to create is legacy. That's what all this is about. It's legacy.
So it's about creating a legacy for your family and for the families of those who may not have been able to continue in sports or be active with their family for you. So that's something I want to highlight, is that I think a lot of times we think we get caught in, maybe just me, in what we're creating or the product or the solution, but really, and I think this is across the board for people who have a heart, for service, that they really want to create a legacy. They want to solve a problem to create a legacy for people, right? Yeah. It's not like I want to create a bunch of sports bras and get rich, which is still good now. I'm not saying it's not. But I love that it's mission driven, and you're like, no, I am creating a legacy. I love that too, because since I've had my daughter, she's 6, you know that our daughters are the same age, right?
Close.
Your daughter's
5,
okay.
Going on 40.
Then legacy becomes important. Yes. It's just like, okay, so whenever I'm not here, what will she say about me, or what will I leave that she can hold on to, or what will I leave that will make her life better than my life was, right? And so I feel like whenever people ask me, hey, Tara, what do you do? I feel like, dang, I tell them like 5 things. They're like, oh, you do a lot. I'm like, oh, it hurts because I feel like I'm doing,
Does you get tired of hearing you
It feels like I'm doing too much. And I very well could be. But I'm like, what's sticking? We're going to do this. I just want because I just want it to be better for her. And I want her to see, you said earlier, representation matters.
Yes.
I want Asha to see. And that was something whenever, after she was born, I went, after my 12-week maternity leave, I went back to work. I'm not feeling this. And so I talked to my husband, and I was like, I want to do something different. Like, I don't know what it is, but I want to do something that makes it different. Like, I don't want to just go to a job. And I don't want our daughter just to see us going to a job to pay bills, right? I want her to see me doing what I'm passionate about, so that she can know that I do what I'm passionate about. Whether what she's passionate about is creating ice cream or what. I just want her to say, Mommy went to work, and she created, something that she's passionate about. And so I know I can do it, right? So that's why my daughter has a Black female pediatrician. Everything I can, I'm like, okay, I just want you to see, because I didn't have that, right? Yeah. I remember going to Atlanta one time, and I was just like, what are all these Black people doing driving these nice cars? Like, not that they didn't drive them in Tulsa, but that's the first time that I remember seeing that. And I thought, oh, but my parents also, because we grew up and my parents told us about what happened here with Greenwood. And they also made it a point to show us that there was more than where we lived. Yes. So we would come to Tulsa all the time, and we would go to the area around Utica Square, and they would tell us, and so we would just see big houses, right? And we're like, ooh, we used to, y'all too young for this, but what y'all know about Key Lock? Key Lock, that's my car. Oh, I'm gonna live right there. That's my house. We used to do that.
Oh, we didn't call it that, but we did that.
Well, we said Key Lock for cars. It wasn't for, what y'all call it?
Oh, we didn't call it nothing. We just did it.
Oh, really? What'd you say?
That's my house. That's
okay.
My car.
Yeah. With the cars, we used to be like, Key Lock, that's my car. I don't know where that came from, but so they showed us, because I always say you can't be what you don't see. So
exactly.
For them to show us that, I was amazed. But then they told us the stories of the Black women who would go from their house on the north side and ride the bus all the way to those houses on the south side and take care of their family, and then go back home and take care of their own family. And I was like, what? So just all along, I mean, that's history, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't even know where I was going with this, but.
No, we talk about legacy. My thing is, if we, even going back to Mrs. Dora Wells and others in that era, if we didn't, now where am I going with this?
We talk about legacy.
If we didn't know, well, the legacy was, it was taken. Like, it was taken away from them. So, and from their descendants. So, how do we're rebuilding Black Broad Street right now as we speak. And so what does that look like in the next 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now? Like, where would that stand? And so for me, legacy is very important. And I remember I had a cousin ask me exactly what my legacy was. Like, what does that mean to you? Because I was approached like, do you want to license your sports bra? I'm like, well, is that taken away from, like, I had to really think through that. Like, is that taken away from my legacy if I do that? And so I want to be able to, afford land and live on land. To me, that's really what I want to get to at some point too. But in order to do that, I need to, get some money. So, but all of that to me is legacy. And what are you leaving behind? What did you leave behind? What did you do good for your community, for this world? And then what else did you leave behind for your family?
Yeah. You talked about the legacy being taken. We have you talked about, well, it says the implications of the massacre. And so that being taken from, the descendants of I mean, I can't imagine. Thank goodness Dora wasn't home, but I can't even imagine what it would be like to be out of town and then the next day you come back and like everything is gone.
I know. Like I couldn't imagine that either. And then the fact that she wasn't even like, she saw the aftermath, but then she went out to another city and then raised some money to bring back. You know, she was doing the work. But I couldn't imagine it. But then getting that, I don't know what they used back. Did they have phones back then? I don't even know. But I guess, well, she had to have known, right? She came back the next day. I don't know.
I think they did. They had cars, so they surely had phones.
I don't know how far away she was either.
They didn't have cell phones. I know
they
that
didn't.
for sure.
No. So she didn't find that out on the news either. So, but just, you know, if you were to receive that news while you were away, how devastating. Your house is gone, your business is gone, and coming back, and the answer to why is because you're Black. Like,
yeah. That's bananas. And the story is, and it's not the story, it's the truth, but they did rebuild.
Yes.
And it was stronger.
Yes.
But then, as we know, a highway was built through the community. So just all of these things, I was thinking about it today, and I just was thinking about the different obstacles as a people that we've had to overcome and continue to overcome. And then I thought about it, and I was like, that could be one of the reasons that we're so innovative and so creative. With all of these challenges, you like, what I don't like is this fly on my leg, but I don't like this challenge. I don't like this obstacle. How can I fix it? Or how can I make my life, you know, better or get around it, you know? And I think it's just, first of all, the fact that we're so resilient as a people is amazing, because you get tired, right? And so I'm grateful that you mentioned earlier that Black Wall Street, that the spirit of, you know, resiliency is still there, because we are rebuilding. Now, it may not look like it looked before, but we're rebuilding in a different way. So maybe it's going to be, is it the fly?
No.
A tech hub. Maybe it's going to be technology. Maybe it's going to be, so what do you think the Black Wall Street of the future will look like?
I think it's going to be a mixture of what's current, like products, services, and definitely tech. There's a big interest in bringing tech here, so I think that will be great too. And even, like Michael with Urban Coders, you're making sure that generation is already skilled in tech, so that and that's another thing too. I work a lot with youth. I go into these schools, I volunteer, and so it is important for them to see representation. Like, I want you to see me, and so if you see Black people in technology, that gives you another option, instead of when I ask you what you want to be when you grow up and you keep on talking about, okay, you can be a ball player, but what else after that? Let's talk about after that. So I'm invested in the youth and making sure that they have dreams to aspire to that just don't always involve sports too, even though I'm a sports person, but I knew that wasn't going to last.
That's important.
Yeah.
So whenever you first started off in sports, you had no idea, or you had no plan to go into to entrepreneurship, right?
Oh no, I didn't even know what that was. I wanted to be a counselor. That was the route I wanted to go, and so, but no, I had no idea this was the route that I was going to be taking.
I love that you were created with, and that you followed the inclination to allow something to bother you so much that you wanted to fix it. You're like, oh no, we're not going to do this. We got to fix this. This is not going to be. So I think you have another.
It's the last one.
Oh, okay. So it's about 6:12, and we want to make sure we give time for our audience if you guys have any questions. Are y'all enjoying this? Is this a good conversation? Are you sure? Because some of y'all look sleepy. It has been a long day. But I want to make sure we give time for questions. But if, I'm going to let you do your closing stuff in a little bit.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and open it up for questions. I'm going to grab a mic, and if anybody has questions, are you coming to help me? Yay! So we're going to grab a microphone, and does anybody have any questions or any comments or any connection? Like, I know at 1 Million Cups we say, what is your ask of the community? Like,
I can do it there right now.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, okay. I was like, what? All right. So we have 2 upcoming events. That looks small over there. Okay, so Mammograms Mimosas, that's our community investment side of Bounceless, where on October 1st, where we will have a scholarship fundraising event, but it's going to be a panel of women. This is what interests, anyway, women under 40 are being diagnosed with breast cancer. And so we'll have some people, some local women who have either been diagnosed and are survivors or previvors, one of them as well, to talk about their experience and resources. This is going to be an education event, but come get brunch, get a free mimosa, and then just come learn and see what's going on in the breast health community, because we're very heavily invested in breast health as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
You said a term I've never heard, previvors.
Previvor.
What does that mean?
And my cousin is one too. They have a double mastectomy because of the history in their family of breast cancer. So just to go ahead and just get their breast removed and get new breasts. So.
Okay.
Yep. And then a second event, and thanks to Bree Seeley, she is out here today. She's helping me with a Kickstarter campaign that will be kicking off sometime in September. And so the QR code will send you to a Google form where you can sign up for when that's ready. You can sign up with your email, and then we'll send you out some information of when we're kicking that off. But this Kickstarter will be a give back too. There's something that if you're not maybe our customer, or you don't need the sports bra, you can give it to someone. So that'll be part of our Kickstarter. It's a way to gift a sports bra to someone.
Nice. Okay, so we are ready for questions now. Does anybody have any questions for Chantelle? Mark has one. Thank you, Larry, for helping us.
Okay, so we got Kickstarter kind of on the horizon, and this Mammograms Mimosas. What else is on the horizon? What's the next 6 to 8 months look like for you all? What is cooking in the head?
It's always something cooking. Really is expanding our reach, and once we get that, we will definitely want to get them again to some more products. So hopefully in the next 8 to 12 months, we can begin working on another product, whether that definitely be the sports bra, but we are also going to get into some swimwear as well. So we just want to make sure that we have an inclusive brand for women.
Nice, swimwear.
Yes,
okay.
That's a struggle to find in swimwear.
Okay. Well, good. That's a great question. Thank you, Mark. Anybody else have any questions? Liz has one.
Hi.
Hi.
Do you have any programs or things set in place to do fit testing with people, or influencer kind of stuff where people could get a product and try it out and give an honest opinion?
Thank you for that. We are currently working on our influencer marketing. And then if you're local, we will meet you so you can try it out. Deborah does some measurements, but we can also team up with other people to get those measurements as well. But
Okay, wait, measurements. Is this bra custom?
no, we need to. Most women don't know their bra size.
I was
so
like, what?
That's an issue when you don't know your bra size, and so we just want to make sure you get your fit, and then you can just get the one and be done.
And people are, I think we may have known it before COVID, but then after COVID, it's like, I don't know, not necessarily the breast, but the other stuff.
Yes.
So it's like, well, what is the?
But even before COVID, most women were like, girl, you not no C cup. No, for real. And then, and ladies, please don't be embarrassed by it's just a letter in the alphabet.
I was about to ask you about that because I feel like they changed the sizing.
Okay.
I'm offended about it. I'm like, oh, what?
No, when your band size change, your cup size will change.
Really?
Yes. So if you go up a band size, you're going to go down a cup size and vice versa. So So if you've gained weight, then your cup size will likely go down.
Really?
Yeah.
That seems like it seems counterintuitive. Why is that?
Because it is.
Okay.
I mean, that's just.
Your band size gets larger, so this side, that's the number. But the cup is what your breasts are in.
Yes.
So those get smaller because they're stretched out, but
Right.
the band is wider. So
Yes.
those numbers shift that way.
Thank you.
What do you do?
Thank you.
What you?
She trying to put you on the team. Look. Oh, that's who I want to connect you to afterwards, right? No, I'm. Yes.
But also, so I worked at Victoria's Secret in college and also 2 degrees in fashion design. So the band is one number, and then as it goes up, so 1 inch bigger is an A, 2 inches bigger is a B, 3 inches bigger is a C. And so that's how. So if your band size goes up, but if your boobs stay the same size, you're literally increasing the inches between the band size and the full bust measurement.
I think I need to take bra sizing 101 because I'm still like.
I barely got it. Sorry, I'm 43, and I think for the first time when I first 40, my middle child is in college. I said, hey, I heard at Nordstrom, which we weren't normal Nordstrom shoppers, I'm like, they do that fit for you. And so we got all bougie and went to Nordstrom and had someone come in to the changing room.
They do it at Dillard's,
and
too.
did our complete with both of us, and it was so way off from both of us what we were wearing.
So what?
Yeah.
At the Gap.
At the Gap, that's interesting. I was going to tell y'all to go to Muse Intimates here.
That's the place. I love Muse.
Yes,
Utica
we did a
Spring.
pop-up shop at Muse too. They're great. Mhm.
What? I think they all do it too here.
Yeah. So there are places. Go get y'all's fit. Y'all numbers right.
Apparently, I need to go.
And do
because
not
I'm
be
like,
afraid of that letter.
oh, the letters.
I had a fitter. She rolled her eyes at me, and I probably deserved it, but I was like, I'm not that. And she probably heard it all the time, but I'm at this point now. Don't be afraid of the letter.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for adding that.
It's going to be educational on bra fitting.
So you mentioned your mimosas and mammograms. I'm currently working kind of on idea with a lot of different doctors locally, mostly all women, because I'm coming from California where we have a lot of really great programs for women's, especially breast health, cancer health, resources, sharing those resources, building out those women's facilities. And the more people I speak to here, even though there are facilities that are called women's centers, even the doctors are admitting that they are not functioning properly. They're not giving the support that women need as far as when they first go in, to really track them and sit them with their different doctors, with the resources, the proper sharing of information. They're just kind of putting them in, letting them go out the other way. So particularly for the mimosas and mammograms, I would love to bring a couple of doctors that I'm working with, just so they could get your insight as the community, and so we could actually put some measurable goals and ideas together to start actually doing some of these things.
Love it.
So,
What's your name?
Anitra Parrish.
Anitra Parrish.
I actually run a Equitable Programming Foundation, and I'm working with all the, I'm new to Tulsa, but I'm working with all the organizations locally to help impact and be an ally in any way I can, and you will all be seeing more of me.
Amazing. So
Especially the
afterwards,
ladies.
y'all need to connect
The
for real.
ladies, she
Yeah.
knows already. I already got to her daughter. But no, I'm very excited, and I've been out working all day in the corner hub, so I've had meetings all day, but then I saw y'all out here, and I was like, okay, I'll stay. I'll stay. I'm gonna lock
I'm
your
glad
eyes
you
down.
stayed. I'm glad you
Thank
stayed,
you.
for
Yes,
sure.
thank you.
Any other questions? So I feel like we kind of, I don't know. I want to know more about the entrepreneurial journey from you, because I know it's different with everybody. But you're a full-time entrepreneur, right?
Yes, I will say this. My entrepreneurship journey also consists of me still working at OSU part-time, because I still like the community work, and they allow me to do that. So, but most of my work is on the business. And so it has been a long time. This journey has been rough along the ways, but we're getting to some bright sides. So I'm looking forward to that. But I will say I didn't become full-time until ACT Tulsa. Okay. So, and if it wasn't for them, I would still be, struggling out there in them streets like that.
Did it get any easier after you went full-time? Well, first of all, the accelerator, I'm sure, gave you like a lot of resources and stuff.
Definitely. Yes. Resources, not just monetary either. Networking is a great resource. You need to use that social capital. That's
Support,
something that,
too.
yeah, support. And I'm not shy about asking for support anymore. At first, I got this. No, you don't got it by yourself. So admit that. But yeah, learning those things and changing my mindset on some things has definitely been a priority, especially after going through the accelerator, just being more open to some things, and we actually rebranded out of ACT. So just being mindful of those things, of what can happen for you.
I was going to say earlier, whenever we met, you were still Concept 3.
Yes.
Concept 3.
Concept C3.
Concept
Comfort,
C.
confidence, control, which is still a part of Bounceless, because we name our sports bras. We have like the Bounceless Comfort Sports Bra, the Bounceless Control Sports Bra, and we're going to have a Bounceless Confidence Sports Bra.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I just wanted to make sure that I added that in there, because I think, again, some people need to know that you might be working your full-time job alongside.
Yeah, and there's
building
nothing, there is nothing wrong with that. Do what you have to do, because I have kids. School supplies and uniforms is not cheap, and right now, honestly, the business is not profitable. We put a lot of money in that, so we're not profitable at this point. So do what you have to do to live, and you don't have to take everybody's advice. You need to go into this. You do it when you're ready, because you're gonna go back to ramen all the time if you don't.
So it's been, 13 years. What keeps you going? So like, to somebody who may be watching who's been in it and they're like, oh, it took her 10 years or more. Okay, what keeps you going, and then what can you say to have them?
What keeps me going is knowing that I have something. Even when it started off as idea, that idea kept me like, you gonna change. You about to do some stuff, girl. Like, see, I mean, there were moments I didn't think that, but for the most part I did. I had to remind myself, failure is not an option. And so there were lessons learned. I don't even call them losses. They were lessons learned along the way, but you have to take those lessons and those things that did not work out well and just figure out what you're going to do next time to make it better. And so I take no's as motivation. There are a lot of no's that I received. Oh, you telling me you can't? Okay, let me show you. So that's what you tell me no, that's going to put some fire under me to go, let me go prove you wrong. So a lot of that happened too. But failure's not an option because one, at some point, I put way too much money into it. I'm like, we got to get this money back somehow, too. But the whole process, I would say, started in 2015, so we're coming up on, that was that 8, I don't know my math, about eight years now. So, yes, but product development took a very long time. And if we already had something like that worked, it wouldn't have taken that long. But we had to build it out. And so that's what took a long time as well. And finding manufacturers to do it. We had this last one manufactured in China. That was a lesson learned on imports too. So yeah, I could probably write a book about all the lessons I've learned.
You probably should.
And ways to avoid a lot of money going out. Yes.
I mean, what was that even like trying to find? How do you know where to find? Like, because I ask Siri everything. Hey Siri, find me a manufacturer. You know, I mean, how do you even start a process?
Well,
like
fortunately, with our last product development, Alia with the product place, she was great and helped, and she had connections internationally as well. The comfort bra was manufactured in Dallas too with In-Style Exchange, so that one was here. But you know, she was like, she already saw the vision too. She's like, no, you're gonna do more than X number of sports. You're gonna go big. So we went big, and so we have a lot of sports bras that we need to sell too.
Okay, so there's a lot of sports bras that need to be sold. So buy one for your mom, buy one for your whoever. You buy one for your dog if you want to.
But let's wait till September when we're gonna do that
September.
Kickstarter so that we can like drive those numbers up. So,
Okay.
yeah,
That sounds good. Okay, do we have any more questions before we wrap it up? Is this anything that maybe you guys could talk about afterwards, or do you want people like to?
No, but I was just gonna quickly, with your Kickstarter and stuff, have you implemented any pre-buy stuff options? Because that's sometimes a really great possibility, so you
like
can
pre-order?
do pre-buys, and people can pay up front, and then you know, and then it decreases the cost, and you already have the money up front.
Hey, Anitra, will you take the
Yeah.
mic for me?
Oh, so then you have the money up front and are able to order your exact product instead of having so much overage with the extras. So that's a very creative way to do a lot of things like that, especially on a quick Kickstarter level and campaigns online. A lot of people are understanding that this is a product for impact. So they sometimes don't mind waiting for the 4 weeks, 6 weeks, whatever you have planned out. So that's another creative way to get your product going, but not having to come up with this extra equity or extra money.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad thank you for sharing that. That's great information. So well, first of all, let's give Chantelle another hand.
Thank you.
I'm like you now. I'm like, which way do we go? Okay, so if you are new to the Black Gold series, then you won't know that typically what I do is wear the T-shirt of a local Black entrepreneur. And today I have on this T-shirt that says Black Wall Street, Black educated, prosperous, prominent, and wealthy. And on the back it says Legacy Tees, which is the company who actually made the T-shirt. Legacy Tees was started in 2020 by a mom and son team here in Tulsa. And they were sitting around in 2020, like we all were at the house. And she went to her son and said, hey, what do you think about this? And he said, okay. And so now, talk about legacy, they've got a company that they started and they do amazing things. Let me tell you, whenever this came to my office, it was packaged so beautifully. I actually did a video of it. I should have put that in the slide. But it came wrapped very beautifully in plastic, and it had this card which says, thank you, we truly appreciate you supporting our business. And it has a self-love check card. So it says, drink your water today. I don't read that one, but I'm just kidding. exercise your lungs. Inhale deeply, exhale slowly. Read a book, start a journal. So I love that. Got Caleb Logan's business card and QR codes if anybody wants to order. And another business card, but she also had like a piece of candy in there. And then this pen, because they also make pens. And they make amazing things. They do custom things. Caleb and I have been friends for years, so I'm so honored that she would make a t-shirt for us here on Black Gold. And I don't know what I did with the thing, but I wanted to shout her and her son out. You guys check them out, legacyteesllc.com. And if you know about Black Gold, you know that Onifade's Cookie Company is a fan favorite. Onifade is a local entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur. He started his business, I believe, at the age of 11. And he did that because he wanted to help his mom, I believe, take a trip back home, which was to Ghana, Africa. So he's very successful. He's a very sweet young man. I cannot believe how tall he's getting. And we have cookies from them tonight. So we're so excited about that, and wanted to make sure that we're able to highlight those Black businesses. I want to thank all of you that are here. Again, Michelle from Greenwood Cultural Center, you and your team, thank you so much for this partnership. We truly value it. And thank you for all of the work that you do in our community. And thank you for the research, everything that you've done. We really appreciate everything that you do. Building Tulsa's here. We thank you, Building Tulsa, for being here. Thank our 36 Degrees North team. Let's clap it up for the 36 Degrees North team, past and present. And thank you for coming. I hope that something was said that was inspiring to you. And I just, before we close out, wanted to see if you had any parting words or any closing thoughts.
I don't. I think I said all that I needed to. So yeah, thank you all for being here. Support us if you can with Mammograms Mimosas and the Kickstarter. QR code coming back up.
Yep.
We'll leave that up, and we look forward to collaborating somehow if we can.
Okay, so our next 36 Degrees North, I'm looking at the sign. Our next Black Gold will be in November, and I'm not sure who we will have yet, but just stay tuned because we do this every quarter. If you know somebody actually who you think who is an entrepreneur who's from Tulsa, who has or maybe not from Tulsa, who has an amazing story that would be inspiring, please let us know. Let me know, because I want to make sure that we highlight these stories, because we are the new Black Wall Street. So we want to make sure we get your story out there and that we encourage people. Thank you again for coming. Y'all have a good night.